So, ladies and gentlemen, I am under no misconceptions. This video is going to be demonetized because it's about a topic that not a lot of people are talking about. YouTube definitely doesn't want to talk about. People don't want to explore this because, well, it's uncomfortable. And it steps into a realm of, I don't know, gray area. I don't think it's gray, but there will definitely be people in the next 5 to 10 years that are going to be talking about this and making this argument. So I'll give you the backstory. All right, on Twitter, Lunar Archivist, who is an account I think is very funny, very good. I have nothing bad to say about them, but they posted this picture. When I said I could go for a couple Wendy's, I should have been more specific. One of the Wendy's that they put here is the Wendy from Peter Pan. And that's a kid. So I asked, isn't Peter Pan's Wendy a kid? Now, Lunar Archivist, had nothing against them. I think that they're great. They come out with a relatively weak response. Her exact age isn't ever given. Well, we know that it's a child. We know that it's a child because the whole premise of the story is not wanting to grow up. She's a kid, so she's probably 11 or 12, maybe even 10. Yeah, but she's 12, 13 at the most, okay? So we don't know exactly how old she is, but we know she's not 18. And more importantly, this is a joke. It's like true that was meant to be a joke. It was a lewd joke, but it's a joke, right? That contains, I guess the better argument would be, it's an adult version of what was once a child character. Because the better argument here would have been, yeah, she was a kid back in 1963, but now. I'm just throwing it out there, that saying that, well, we don't know her age and it was a joke is a weak argument. A better one would be, like, this was created in the 60s, so she would be, basically a grandma by now. So, yeah, that was, that was not a great argument. But this post is actually what got me thinking. And even if it weren't, so even if it was a kid, she's fictional. So that really got me pondering. That got my noggin jogging. Because, okay, so what will be the internet's moral conclusion about AI generated images that contain lewd scenes with small children? I'm curious. Now, I think I know the answer. I think that it's going to be almost universally reviled. But I didn't think that my statement, I mean, I didn't get any huge pushback. But people were definitely like, oh, well, what's the big deal? It's a fictional character. We don't know her age. It's like, yeah, we kind of do. And yeah, it's kind of creepy. And yeah, it's kind of just like, what the fuck? But I'm not here to step on anyone's toes, because it is true that Wendy is not an actual kid. This isn't a cutie situation here. But when you have AI technology that has no moral compass, that will create anything that a person wants, what is going to be the position on AI generated images that have to do with kids? Because you can make the argument, well, I mean, it's not really kids, is it? It's not really kids. The computer generated this thing. I mean, I would never have thought about this, but not for this conversation here. Because watching people react this way, so here's another person. I didn't see this. I'm just reminding you that the left character is based on a certain person at a certain age. I'm not hating or something, just reminding to be careful. Otherwise, it could be weaponized on you by Twitter freaks, and they say your concern is appreciated. So apparently, I'm not the only one who noticed this, and could make that sort of unfortunate, you know, conclusion. The better answer would be like adult versions of Wendy or something like that to just try to, limit liability. But the whole point is that in the future, AI generated images, is this going to be the political dividing line? Where you say, well, yeah, it is a child, but it's not. It's AI generated. It's fictional. There's no real kid. I'm just looking at this, going, oh, God, I hope not. I really, really hope not, because if our society devolves to that degree, I mean, I tell you what, it's we got the FBI looking at that like, oh. So yeah, I'm not here to call out anyone. That's not the purpose of this. I want to post this as more of a conversation piece, a think piece, because I do find it interesting, because I think that portraying children it isn't always as simple as it appears. So, for example, I don't like anime that has little girl looking characters. Whether they're, oh, I'm over 18 or I'm a 3,000-year-old dragon, I find it fucking weird. Let kids be kids, let adults be adults, and don't try to blur the line. That's my position on it, whether it's AI, whether it's anime, whether it's real life. I didn't fucking like cuties. I thought it was an evil abomination. So I'll make that perfectly clear. I am binary on this. It's either no, we're not going to do this, or, no, we're not going to fucking do this. And if you think we should, you should join Jared Fogle in prison. But this is going to open up a conversation in the coming years. People are going to be asking this. Because if you have an AI program that can generate child porn, but no children were actually hurt in the creation of this, what is going to be the public conversation? And there are many different topics that I would have said to you, there is no possible way that that topic is going to go the way that it is. I mean, if you would ask me 15 years ago, like about wokeness and that whole thing, I would have said, there's no way. There's no way that some of the more racist and sexist elements of wokeism were going to make its way into public conversation. No, not going to happen. But they did. And by the way, I just scrolled up here to look at this picture, and a detail that I didn't immediately notice was that these three girls in the Wendy's, have condoms in their mouth. Yeah, that's I don't like that. That's not, no, I don't like that. Again, nothing against Lunar Archivist, and I honestly don't have anyone in my community that I think really is down for that stuff, but I'm not against people who like lolly characters. It's not my cup of tea. Yeah, I don't really get down with that. But there's some people that do, and I do understand that there are girls who are just small, absolutely small, and they're tiny, and they're 4 foot whatever, and they look like kids and whatever. But for me, I think the delineation between child and adult is something that we should never dismantle or try to erode or try to take our foot off the neck of, basically. We should never try to normalize or make it okay to engage in that type of content. And I think that AI will be the next great challenge because there's a lot of, well, it's not hurting anyone. Well, it's better that they use AI to create child porn than actual children. This will stop them from doing it. We've already seen arguments similar to that, but AI is going to give them the ease of access. And I don't know if a government regulation is going to be what's needed or if it's going to be something else, but I think that in the future that is going to be ultimately what the next topic of conversation is. And I'm just here to tell you where I stand on it. I find it fucking gross. I I tell you what, I'm more old school in that way. I think that pedophiles and people who are attracted to kids, uh, I don't want to, I don't want to say anything that could potentially get me in trouble. But I tell you what, I have absolutely, absolutely no mercy for those people. I am of the opinion I'm on Trump's side on this. If you're a trafficker of kids, if you're trafficking kids, the death penalty, absolutely, 100%. If they can prove that you're trafficking kids, I got no problem with that. But that's a topic for another conversation. But that popped into my head. I thought, it's like AI. It's fake. It's not real. So could that be an excuse? Like this person was like, well, even and by the way, I just want to reiterate: this isn't. This absolutely isn't a condemnation of Lunar Archivist. But that person responding was saying, well, even if they're underage, even if they're kids, it's fake. So, by that logic, well, then AI generated, child porn. That's perfectly fine. I don't think that's true. I don't think it is. I think that that's going to be the next great conversation. Holy shit! I can't believe we're in this. We're in this place. All of it because of one image posted, and the answers not being good. The answers from Lunar Archivist and that person, they just weren't good. It would have been I would have been much more satisfied if they were like, no. These are just adult renditions of characters, but no, they're trying to meddle with age and stuff, and I'm not down for that. And again, this is something that I say all the time. I have no problem with somebody like Lunar Archivist. I think they do a great job online making funny, interesting content. I've looked at my Twitter feed and there have been some times where it's the best thing there. However, I have maintained something on my channel since the beginning. I don't care if I like somebody or not. I don't care if I dislike somebody or not. The main purpose is that I will never, ever, ever be the guy who is afraid to speak his mind because he might offend somebody or might make somebody feel uncomfortable. No, that's not me. I will always speak up, and if they choose not to like me afterwards, if they choose to block me or go on, that's their choice. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I am comfortable with that more than you could possibly imagine. Because I think dialogue like this is important because this is what's coming next. You're going to get people generating AI images that are almost indistinguishable from real ones. And the argument is going to be that these aren't kids, they're AI generated images. This is art, basically. Not a single child was hurt making this, but it's of kids. I mean, that's my prediction of the next step, and I think that people would do well to familiarize themselves with this in order to come up with arguments that help to basically put this to bed forever and to flush this flush this ridiculous thing down the toilet. There needs to be an argument that isn't based on the medium, or oh, it's okay if it's, if it's not real. Like, oh, anime is not real and they have young looking girls. It just needs to be something that is concrete. We do not generate pictures of kids for the purposes of sexual content at all. Period. Ever. No excuse. Not for cuties, not for anything else. We just don't do it. Anyway, that's enough of that. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you next time.